Father, we bless you, teach us your word in the name of Jesus. This is the ministry of Moses, part 32. And we're going to take our text from Exodus chapter 20, from verse 1 to 26. Now, from verse 1, the Lord began to give commandments to the children of Israelites. This was the beginning of what we call constitution today. God gave them these laws to prevent them from sin. Where there is no law, there is no sin, because any violation of the law is what is called sin. This would therefore mean that where there is law, there is sin. Many of the Israelites sinned against God ignorantly because there was no law for them to follow. So, in order to cure their ignorance, God gave them some laws. Now, anyone who chooses to go against these laws will know that he or she has committed a sin. So, the excuse of, Lord, I'm sorry, I sinned, I don't know it was a sin, will no longer be tenable. These laws will also help the ministry of Moses because then there was no Bible. So at least Moses can preach from the law. In those days, preaching is as simple as reminding the Israelites of the content of the law that the Lord has given to them and also encouraging them to keep it. Now let's consider the content of the law. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord in vain. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Honor thy father and thy mother. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not steal. It is important to know that all these things that was listed here are those sins the Lord have seen among the people. So he brought out these laws in order to fight those wrong acts. God added adultery to the commandment because he had seen the Israelites commit adultery behind closed doors. He mentioned idolatry because he knew the people are into idol worshiping. Now, he mentioned honor for parents because he had seen many of them disregard their parents. He mentioned calling his name in vain because he knew that it is a common act. Even some of the so-called priests do it. He mentioned keeping the Sabbath day holy because he knew most of the Israelites don't value the Sabbath day. These new laws was so rich that it covered all the misbehaviors and the misconduct of the people in order to correct it. The murders, the thief, and so on were addressed in the law. In verse 18, when the people saw the thunderings, lightning, the noise of trumpet, and the mountain smoking, they stood back because they were scared. A man that have not surrendered to the lordship of God over his life cannot withstand the presence of God. Instead of coming closer to God, such a person will choose to move backwards. This was the case of the Israelites. They were so scared by God's presence that they moved away from the presence of God. Moving away from God's presence is moving away from transformation. This is because one of the ways or one of the things that the presence of God does to you is that it transforms you. Sometimes even your physical look will be affected by the intensity of the presence of God that you have been exposed to. It is like an electromagnetic ray of light. If you stay in it, the effect will be felt by you. Let us consider verse 19 to 21. And they said unto Moses, Speak thou with us, and we will hear. But let not God speak with us, lest we die. And Moses said unto the people, Fear not, for God is come to prove you, and that his fear may be before your faces, that ye sin not. And the people stood afar off, and Moses drew near unto the thick darkness where God was. From here we know that one of the things the fear of God does to us is that it delivers us from sin. If you must overcome sin, then you must know that if Self-discipline is not then if you must overcome sin, then you must know that self-discipline is not enough. You need to have the fear of God. The cure for sin is the fear of God. That is what will make you depart from evil. Here, God hid himself in a thick darkness, and it was not only Moses that could enter, and it was only Moses that could enter. The word thick darkness means deep mysteries. So if we say God hide himself in thick darkness, then we are saying that God hide himself in a deep mystery. Now, Moses entering into the thick darkness where God was means that he was able to search the deep mysteries of God, to have access to a new revelation or a new dimension of God. Now, in verse 22 to 26, God told the people to build an altar, and he gave them guidelines for it, how to build it and how to make it remain conducive for his presence to descend on it. May the Lord give us understanding in the name of Jesus. This is the wisdom of God. Don't sell it.